Ever finish your 9 to 5 and just want to completely shut down? I do every single day. I just want to turn my brain off, go to the couch, turn the TV on, and do nothing else. But I'm still working towards my Canadian flight instructor rating and trying my best to do it without turning into a zombie. So here's what I use to reset and get to my studies. Welcome back to Skyward, the podcast that brings you behind the scenes of the aviation and aerospace industry. I'm your host, Pilot Mercedes, and today I'm sharing my personal list of how I get my brain from the work mode at work, my 9 to 5, to my work mode, my studies, my flight instructor rating, and everything I need to accomplish there. This is applicable to anyone who's in aviation studies or even just studying a general degree at uni. This is for you. Let's dive in.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
If you've been around for a little bit, you know that I started flight training when I was 15 years old. So I was trying to accomplish this while having full-time high school, and I actually got permission to take about a month off to complete my private pilot's license when I was 16 years old. So that's how much effort you have to put into some of these studies, and my brain just did not have the capacity to do both aviation and my regular studies. So I was very thankful for that break. Moving into college, which was from 17 years old to 19 years old, I moved down to Florida and I started my aviation studies. I was going through all of my pilot's licenses. So I already had my PPL. I was working through my instrument rating, commercial rating, and all of my CFI ratings, my certified flight instructor, regular instrument, and multi-engine, CFI, CFII, MEI. I worked through all of those, and I did it in the most worst possible way. If you have heard my story before, I basically completely pushed myself to the limit. I did not have enough sleep. I did not get the right nutrition at all. And I didn't have the right hydration, which is very important when you're living in Florida. I completely missed that bar by a mile. And I did not, where I used to be a fencer and a very active athlete, I completely dedicated myself to my studies to the point that I was not working out the way I should. So I was basically at complete exhaustion almost all the time. So bad sleep, bad nutrition, bad hydration, and bad physical movement. So between those four things, I did not help myself with my studies. If I actually took care of those four things, I would have been able to retain all of the information a lot easier. So I am not repeating the mistakes of the past. And here's the thing. A lot of people tell you you need to rest, you need rest, you need nutrition, you need hydration, all these things. And they also, I've heard multiple times, is that you shouldn't be cram studying right before your test. That's exactly what I did all the time. Literally for every check ride ever, because I was paranoid. I was pushing myself so much. I was studying late into the night for my oral portion of the check ride that I wasn't retaining the information. And I was so stressed about not retaining the information that I would push myself harder, not realizing I was making the situation worse. So I would be studying the night before and even sometimes the morning of the check ride. I passed all of my check rides except for my very last one, which was my MEI, and that was not because of my oral. That was because I was too exhausted, and I went flying and I made a mistake on one of the maneuvers. Yes, that was a learning experience for sure. And again, I blame that on myself for not taking care of myself. If I had taken care of myself, I would not have made that crucial mistake. But now I'm back in Canada. Obviously, I've been back in Canada for many years now, and I'm working towards my Canadian flight instructor rating, and I do not want to repeat the mistakes of my past. So that means no more all-nighters, no more late-nighters, because your brain doesn't win by brute force, as I learned the very, very hard way. So I don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. And I've picked up a new way to get my brain ready for studying, and I'm sticking to it because it's been working so far. So I'm sharing that with you today. When I come back from my 9 to 5 job, it's about half an hour from my work, so get home around 5:30-ish or so. And I try to cut off all of my thoughts from work and transition myself into home life and what I need to study and then accomplish for that evening. And I do that by starting with some movement. I like the Dare to Be Active act by Dr. LA. She is an amazing physical therapist, and she joined up with a bunch of other physical therapist and created this app, and I absolutely love it because I can do so many different variations depending on how I'm feeling that day, if I want to push myself further or if I just want to make sure that I got some movement. I use her app. If I don't use a regular workout from there, I honestly just go for a walk. If it's a beautiful day outside, I want to get outside. So I go for a 20-minute walk with my husband and just enjoy the fresh air and allow it to kind of like clean out the cobwebs in my mind from sitting all day at work inside, and just allow that to be a nice fresh reset from the day. And honestly, it helps get my blood moving. It's just a great mental and physical reset from all the tasks that I was doing beforehand and thinking of beforehand. Because if you don't already know, that sitting all day basically kills your circulation, which also doesn't help your blood flow going to your brain, which you need very much so to accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. So then after I've had some movement, whether that's a workout or a walk outside with my husband and my dog, my husband and I prep dinner, or he preps dinner for me so that I can focus on my tasks early on and just come for dinner. Those are very, very nice evenings. But I do enjoy cooking with my husband. That's also a great way to reset and kind of just work through the day and stuff like that. So we cook dinner together, eat dinner together, and after that's been all cleaned up and stuff, I prep a big canister. I don't have it around here right now, but a big canister of water, along with I have it with me, a jug of water. I drink water, guys. So I have a big glass of water, and I have that all right beside me over to the left here, actually, so that I can focus solely on my studies without needing to get up and have a drink of water, go downstairs, and I keep myself as close to the desk, as close to my desk as possible. So the other thing that I do in order to keep myself here is I also make sure that I go to the bathroom beforehand. Because I don't want to have to get up in the middle of my study or deep work period. I want to stay here as long as possible. So that's what I do to start getting myself prepared physically, and now mentally, I write everything down. I don't know about you, but my brain is like a constant tornado of lists and tasks and ideas. And if I don't have a pen and paper near me, that means they're just swirling around in my head. And that is usually a bad thing for me. I need to write it all down so that I feel like don't have to hold on to everything. I've actually let go of some of it so that I can think about it at some other time. So for the sake of studying and life, I write down a list of what I need to do in a day, and then I write a separate list of what I want to accomplish during the study deep work session. And I put the most important one that I want to accomplish for sure this evening, this night, or the next 5 minutes at the top, so that I achieve that first goal and then move down to the next secondary and third. I usually try to keep about 3 so that I feel like I'm achieving something, which also gives you kind of like a dopamine hit, which helps me feel more accomplished by the end of the night rather than defeated that I did not accomplish my list of 20 things that were totally unachievable. And I get upset with myself, as my husband can attest, and be like, "You tried too many things at once." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I'm sorry." So that's how I move all of my thoughts and tasks and lists that are floating around in my head down to a piece of paper so that I can take that mental load off of me and focus solely on the task at hand. Now, for my study period, I have been using something called the Pomodoro method but I use the shorter method, which is 25 minutes working on something and 5 minutes break. So that means in the 25 minutes, if I need to pee, I am holding it until that 25 minutes is up and I am peeing during my 5 minute break because I want to get through all of the tasks that I am trying to finish and stay in one place. I don't want to be distracted. It's a great motivator if you need to pee. You like hyper focus on those tasks. So the 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and I start it as soon as I sit down and start working on my tasks. But some people do so many rounds of it and then cut it off. My cutoff is usually a specific time rather than how many rotations of the Pomodoro method. And so, depending on the night and what's happening the next day, I usually say around 10 o'clock because my brain's pretty fried by that point. I'm not going to accomplish anything worthwhile past that time. Going to cut it off and start winding down, getting ready for bed, and stuff like that. Now, what I do for my 5 minute breaks is I actually get up. During the 25 minutes, I'm sitting here, I'm focused, I'm either typing on my presentation or I'm working on the study materials for the flight instructor written test for Canada. One of those things, and I don't want to move from this seat. Now, during my 5 minutes, I actually get up, whether that's going to the bathroom or I've actually ran out of water. That hasn't happened since I started doing the big jug thing. I have no reason to go downstairs and get some more water. But I walk around their house, or I even go downstairs, do some dishes, or do fold some laundry, anything that gets me moving. And once the timer for the 5 minutes is up, I come back and I sit down and continue for the next 25 minutes. That's how I keep feeling motivated and like I'm accomplishing things in my personal life as well as in my studies and stuff like that. You can always do your own thing, but the movement, like getting up and moving, actually helps the circulation continue. Because if I'm sitting here for the next 2-3 hours, circulation is going to go way down, and pushing your brain harder, just trying to think harder, doesn't actually work. And as I said, I did this for many years, and it just makes you more frustrated. And I easily get frustrated. I got frustrated before even recording this episode, funny enough, because I was overstimulated and had too many things on my mind, and then things were going the way I wanted. Um, so this is actually round 2 of filming this episode, funny enough. So yeah, this is how I get all of my tasks down. This is how I get my focus time. And then once I'm done at 10 p.m., or if I get too tired, rather than from sickness or some other thing, or I'm just completely exhausted, I just stop now. I don't try to push through unless there's really a huge deadline for the next morning. I just stop, reset for the night, either read a book, listen to some music, and go to bed, because my brain's not going to accomplish anything more, and it's going to be doing way better the next morning when I feel refreshed and have slept well. So why does this work for me? Well, from the short burst, the Pomodoro style helps prevent the burnout and actually boost your retention, which is actually really great. I know there's some studies to back this, but I haven't read them myself. I've just learned some stuff along the way, and I found that this really works for me. And one of the things that came up throughout this time is that Sleep is actually really crucial to retaining information. So if you've been studying throughout the day and you're getting late into the night, sleep actually helps you remember, funny enough. I've heard some people suggest, I have not done this, but if you learn something and you have a nap for a little bit, it actually helps you retain the information longer than if you didn't, because sleep actually helps you remember, which is crazy that I did not take advantage of that huge resource at my fingertips. So I actually used this method specifically last weekend. It was a long weekend, so we had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. I had a ground school lesson scheduled for Monday in the afternoon, so I had a bunch of presentations to go over and polish before going in. And I actually used this and found that I did not burn out and actually enjoyed a bit more of my weekend than if I had just sat in one spot the entire time and not moved. I was very pleased with the progress that I made. So I had to do 5 and I got 4 out of the 5 done. And I was very proud of how I did it because I felt energized, I felt focused using the 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and specifically and strategically using that time along with the list that I had made. I got the 4 out of 5 done and with fairly clear information compared to previous times that I had done these presentations. They had stressed me out to the wazoo. I was actually able to accomplish a lot in a fairly short amount of time. So I was very happy that this method actually worked. So I'm going to be continuing to use this for future study sessions and presentations and deep work sessions. So if you're drained after work like I am, please give this method a try and let me know what you think. I'm always trying to figure out better ways to get my brain ready for studying, and this is the one that I figured is the best for me so far. So if it works for you, I am completely thrilled. Please let me know. Send me a DM over on Instagram at Skyward Mercedes or send me an email, mercedes@skywardpodcast.com. I would love to hear your feedback on this. And if you have any other subjects or topics that you would like me to cover in these episodes or interview someone, please send me a message in either of those places. I would love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please remember to subscribe if you enjoyed this episode and leave a review. I hope you have a wonderful week. Fly high, dream big, and I'll see you in the next episode.